City Royals tonight. They've played them a bunch of times this season with varying results. Guardians just trying to get to 500 at this point, but they will start up against Kansas City tonight. 7:10 is the first pitch here on WMMS and on the iHeartRadio app. You can listen live if you're in the area. If you listen to us on the app from out of state, tell me where. Some new listeners from Lake Camelot, Illinois. That would be the Peoria metro area. That's Tiffany out there. Pam and Sharon listening. Grace in Kentucky. Derek is in Houston, Mississippi. Kim listens in Nashville, and Greg's in Indianapolis. I was mentioning we did the giveaway the Buzzard bike on Saturday at Slim and Chubby's in Strongsville, and it occurred to me that I hadn't been there since we did the Alan Cox Show 10th anniversary broadcast there.
Was it our 10th anniversary?
It was our 10th anniversary show at Slim and Chubby's.
It was Christmas time.
Yes.
We were all dressed up and we were giving away presents and stuff.
That's when we officially announced Mary was on the show.
Yes, I was going to say, that was like my first official appearance.
That was your coming out. That was the Mary Santora. It was the Alan Cox Show 10th anniversary broadcast / Mary Santora debutante ball.
Yes.
Why she was so dressed up.
It
was her cotillion.
Red stockings that day.
Oh. Yeah, I hadn't been down there since then, but a lot of fun. There were a lot of people in line who didn't know what the line was for. They just got in it, which I thought was funny.
That's so funny.
Well, it's an interesting part of human nature.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like,
there's a line.
Yeah.
Go.
I said, why'd you get in line? Because what we did was all these people, we had qualified 100 people over the past 6 weeks. You know, we were giving away those keys, and one of them was going to fire up this brand new Harley that Budweiser and MMS got, right? Sweet-ass bike. And so we gave away 100 keys. You had to win them over the course of 6 weeks. Out of those 100 qualifiers, 82 people showed up. And so in order to make sure that we had people checked in, it was a well-oiled machine with the WMMS promotions team there.
Well, it's the top of the top.
So we had people lined up. They get to the table. We check them off the list, write their name on an index card that goes into a drum, and then one by one I would pull the names out. But I talked to a handful of people who were in line and didn't know what the line was for. I said, and I explained it to them. They go, oh, and they got out. I go, why did you get in line? They said, I saw a line. I thought maybe it was we didn't know. Yeah. Because, I mean, is there a downside to getting into a line? I'm like, if at the end of it you see like a chimney with smoke coming out, I mean, that's not a good sign. But, is there a downside to getting into a line like that on the patio of a bar on a Saturday evening? Probably not.
Depends on if you have something else to do. If you're not in a hurry, stand in a line.
Well,
Figure out where
clearly,
it goes.
Anybody who's got time to stand in a line is fundamentally not in a hurry. Hey, how long's this line going to take? I got reservations in 15 minutes. Nobody's doing that. So they've got time. And it was leisurely.
Right.
We're on the patio. We're having some
out.
pops, some Budweiser, whatever. And so we're having some fun. But what we didn't want was, with those 82 people, what we didn't want was for like the second or third key to win. And that's not what happened at all. It was the second to last guy who won. We went through 81 keys, whatever it was. And so it's down to two dudes. This kid, Tony from Parma, who ended up winning it. And then some other dude named Steve, I think. And so it was a lot of fun. But, again, I was talking to listeners and people coming up, and we're having conversations and taking pictures or whatever. And I meet this guy named Scott. And he goes, oh, man, the show really got me through like some rough times. He's like, I had been in prison for a year and a half about 10 years ago. And listening to the show got him through a lot. And I said, well, what were you in for? And I just liked his line. He goes, well, I crashed a car, but I also had a bunch of bench warrants. And he goes, so I was already a menace? Which I love. If you ever get the opportunity to refer to yourself as a menace, it's an underused word.
It can be
especially
Poundcake's album cover.
What?
It could be an album that Poundcake releases.
Menus to society. This guy goes, I was already a menus to society, but I was already a menace. That's a guy who's, some people go, oh, I got railroaded and blah, blah. Nope. I was already a menace.
He owns it.
Of course. You've got to. And when you have the good vibrations that, of course, only this show can provide, when you've got those kinds of tailwinds at your back, nothing can stop you. Hey, there's this woman who's very proud of herself. She's proud of herself for losing weight, and she's proud of herself for what she did with the excess weight. It's a British woman. You might have seen her on social media. You know, the problem with a lot of people who get like gastric bypass surgery or they go through some rapid weight loss situation, the trouble that they find themselves in is they lose the weight so quickly that they end up with excess skin. And for a lot of those people, they will say that that's almost worse than before because you need a separate procedure. They don't just throw that in when you get the gastric bypass. Hey, come on back and we'll take that skin off. That's a whole other thing that's very extensive, very expensive, and a lot of people don't do it. So you might see people online who are like, the people who lose weight and then do the like reality versus the illusion, where they suck in their gut or whatever. Well, this woman had her skin removed. She had the means or whatever. Of course, it was England. Maybe it was part of it. Maybe she got it for free. I don't know. But she took all that excess skin and made human leather out of it.
Ugh. No.
I can make shoes out of my own skin?
Come on, man.
She turned her excess skin into art. Do you want to see the pictures?
No.
Yeah.
Come on, right there on the live stream. I'll show them to
Let's
you.
see.
There are the pictures of her belly skin and...
It's like those nutsack backpacks.
Kind of,
there.
yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Katie Taylor was an artist, and she took all the excess skin after her extensive weight loss. She had the operation, and she had 4 pounds of excess skin. And then doctors removed it and took it to her house, where she turned it into other things.
I did ask to keep my skin. Well, so I have tanned it into leather, human vegan leather.
Well,
gonna
it's
be
not
vegan?
vegan.
Somebody needs to tell her that there is no such thing as human vegan leather. I don't know what she means by that.
Maybe
she's-
because you had permission to remove it from the thing that
Well, no,
you made the
vegan
bag?
means no animal products.
Right.
It's not consent. We're animals. You can't have human vegan leather. So maybe that's just a
Maybe she's
selling point for
vegan.
her. What's that?
the vegan.
She's the vegan.
She's the vegan. So
I see. She's a human vegan. Oh, I
Yes.
see.
that's what I'm assuming. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense.
I tell you what, man,
Human vegan leather.
I don't know. I'm one of those people where the faux leather or the faux fur doesn't look as good as the real thing. There's nothing better than like a
But
meat.
isn't that just the power of suggestion?
Pain, yeah.
You said I want,
Yeah.
I
He
want
does,
the pain.
though.
You want
he
the pain, you want the
does.
suffering. We know.
But
He
like,
likes it when people are hurt.
like
But
a
is that it?
chinchilla
Or things.
or something? Like,
You wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
yes, you would.
I guarantee if we
It's power of
brought in-
suggestion. If we...
Yeah. It's just like diamonds. The fake diamonds, the
Lab grown.
lab grown
or
ones
whatever.
are actually clearer and better looking than the ones that you get from the ground. But people are like, but I want the ones from the ground.
Is that true? They're
I want
clear.
I want the blood diamonds.
Well, Brian and I were talking about that with engagement rings, where I told him, I was like, don't tell me. If you're going to get something fake, I don't care what it is. I don't care how much it costs. As long as it looks good, do whatever you want. Because he's like, I won't spend all that money on diamond. You know, Brian, Mr. One Ply Toilet Paper. He's like, say, I could get you something real nice for $500. I was like, okay, Brian.
Oh, so
whatever
he
you
won't
think."
even... So he's frugal even at the expense of buying you a ring.
Well,
Even at the
I think
expense
he
of
says
romance.
that because he wants it to be a surprise, I'm guessing.
maybe. I don't know. He's frugal at the expense of everything. Everything. We were at a baseball game yesterday.
Well, then you should... Yeah, it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like he's misleading you for the purposes of surprise. Sounds like you take him at his word.
No, exactly. I know
Yeah.
who this person is.
Right, yeah,
I've
of course.
been with him a long time. I know who he is.
Yeah.
But I told him the same thing where I was like, you see these lab grown diamonds, and it's like you literally, to the regular person, you can't tell the difference. You don't know what's what. I'm like, do whatever you want, man. I don't need a blood diamond. I'm not Cody. I don't need someone to die for my items. Mr.
I just said-
Chinchilla feels
I
better
said-
if it's real.
Why
It
do you...
doesn't look the same.
Now,
It
why do you
don't
think that?
even know.
What looks different?
just the way it's put together, the way it sits on the actual fabric, it doesn't look the same, nor does it feel the same.
Okay.
How many chinchilla coats have you felt? Real or fake?
A bunch when I was in the store and they told me to get out because I was touching all the coats.
What store?
There was a store.
Burlington Coat Factory.
No, it was I don't even remember the name of it because
Chinchillas are us.
it's always empty. But like I think it's in either Great Northern Mall or Strongsville Mall. And there's like a store right off by one of the entrances, and the light is like never on, but the door was open, and I walked in, and they have a bunch of fur coats, and I just started walking in there, looking and touching, and they were like,
They probably thought you were on drugs. You're not talking to anybody. You're just rubbing up on stuff. You're
I
like,
was browsing.
This guy's on Molly right
People
now.
can't even browse anymore with these expensive ass coats. But I
Like
don't-
Wilson's Leather, one of those old mall stores that's left.
It was in a mall, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what mall it is, but like it's not like
Gadzooks.
It's not like a big store, but they have a bunch of fur coats. And I think they probably got tired of people just walking in there and looking because these are thousands of dollars. So they're probably used to people like not buying anything.
My
on a regular
mom
basis.
loved fur coats.
They
My
just
dad
look so
got her a number of fur coats when I was a kid. When it was, 70s and 80s, it wasn't that big of a deal, at least not part of the public conversation. As an adult now, I think back, I go, oh my God, my mom was wearing like rabbits and chinchillas and stuff.
Cruella
and-
de Vil.
oh, man. God
Only
bless
way-
her.
Where do you
It
buy a
says-
fur coat?
Right, and it says the only way you can tell is if you like part it and see how it's attached to the fabric, whether it's attached to fabric or it's
Or
attached
if it looks like
to,
a pelt.
or if it's attached to like like it's leather backing.
Okay.
Yeah, like a pelt.
Yeah.
It
This
looks like
can't
it,
be
yeah.
real because this from the Fur Caravan has a $78,000 Lynx jacket.
Oh,
Yeah, that could
they're-
be real.
of
For
course,
real?
Yeah.
They're I thought they were like $2 or $3 grand.
No, real fur is really
$78,000.
expensive. Yes, because not only are you kind of taking your life in your hands procuring that stuff, but even putting it on the retail market. You have somebody throw a chair through your window now, and so yeah,
That's
they
worth
have to.
an annual salary or 3 of my annual salaries.
I can't be a hypocrite though.
like the
you-
way it's so stupid because all this like if it's fake fur, it will smell like melted plastic. If it's real fur, it'll smell like burnt hair.
Melted
I don't want
rabbit.
it to be on fire. Like if I'm not on fire, then no one's gonna know.
You got to do the match test on your coat.
Right? Like, are you gonna buy a fur coat and then you catch on fire and people are like, "Oh, don't save them. That's a fake fur coat.
Can you
Smells like plastic."
Can you not support wearing fur and eat meat at the same time?
People have proven themselves very, very flexible in their principles.
Right, and
I would say yes.
And I'm not saying I won't wear fur because it's cruel. I'm saying it because it doesn't seem worth it.
Oh, Bloomingdale's. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Woody.
Alan.
Speaking of real fur.
Yeah, the carpets match the drapes.
Yeah.
Hey, you were just talking about how people randomly get into a line. Back in the 80s when I saw a line, I got into it too. You know what I mean?
Yes, he
cocaine.
did. If you wanna get down.
See you on the Fandango.
Yeah.
You're talking about that woman in England who like took her skin. Could you imagine? Like, I could do this. Like, yeah, I lost all this weight and got all this skin, and I've got a buckskin shirt of my own skin I wear as a tank top or something. Wouldn't that just be like?
Yeah,
most
it looked
bizarre thing
like,
in the
I mean, it didn't look like she turned it into a lampshade or something. It looked like she just had excess, like, in the front, the belly there, and it looked like maybe she was going to turn it into a doormat or a
Fanny pack?
a bum bag or whatever they call them over there.
Just very, very Buffalo Bill kind of crap, right? I don't.
Right,
I don't know.
yeah. I don't know, but I don't know. Thank you, Woody. Woody. Alan, false about fake leather versus the real thing. You can absolutely tell the difference. Put them next to each other.
We're talking about fake leather. We're talking about fur.
Right. Well,
And also-
we mentioned leather.
But
in
if
there,
you have to
too.
get that close to tell, then who cares? Like if you have to get right up to somebody and be
a
like,
magnifying
I got
glass.
real close and it looks fake. Gotcha.
No, if you get that close, you can tell that the grain is completely different in a real piece of leather than in.
But,
Yeah, I don't
okay,
know about
but there
that. I mean-
are bad knockoffs. Like
Absolutely,
A
but
buddy
there's
of
also
mine-
really good
yeah,
knockoffs.
A buddy of mine. Now this is secondhand information to me. Apparently a buddy of mine proposed to his girlfriend with like a $300, like not even lab created diamond, like a
piece
like
of glass.
gem. Yeah, like that. And he was telling everybody, can't tell the difference. Look how big it is for $300. Blah 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 blah. And everyone's like, bro, this looks like it came out of a gumball machine.
Yeah.
Like this,
And it shatters.
It's absolutely
You drop it
horrible.
and it shatters into
Yeah.
50 pieces.
So there's varying degrees of it, but
The point is that there is a much wider retail market now for the fake stuff, like good-looking fake stuff.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you either had a real diamond or you had
Glass.
CZ, yeah. And the big, claim to fame for cubic zirconium is you couldn't tell the difference. But, I mean, people who knew what was up could tell.
Right, but if you
But
have
then
to
you have
get
people
out
that don't
a-
care.
What do they call it? A lute?
The jeweler's loop?
Yeah, the loop.
The eye
Yeah,
thing?
loop.
little eyeglass.
Yeah. And it's, who cares? Like, no one's looking at it that way. Everyone's going to look at it and go, oh, that was so pretty. I'm so jealous.
How sparkly
it.
is
You guys
it?
are going to be married for 7 years.
Well, and all people want to hear is the price tag anyway. So even if you got this person a fake diamond, tell people it's a real one. Now, as long as you don't tell a jeweler that, because if you tell them you paid 5 figures for it, they'll look at it and they go, oh, you got ripped off. This is fake.
I
But
don't
even
know,
if you
can't lie
even
to
if
a
it's real,
jeweler.
you still got ripped off. That's their whole industry.
Yeah. Should
Guess
go
so.
mine our own diamonds.
If you want to leave us messages on the iHeartRadio app, there's a handy little talkback button there for you to do just that.
Alan, you guys probably don't remember, but I'm sure you can find the clip. You talked probably almost a year ago, maybe even more, about old steakhouses where you sit on whiskey barrels and you eat steak with your hands. Is that what Tito is doing with his unique steakhouse? I am excited. I want to eat a T-bone steak with my hands.
I remember that
I
conversation.
remember that. I mean, you can eat a T-bone with your hands no matter where you go. You might get a couple of eyebrows raised, but there's nothing saying that if you order a T-bone steak, pick it up with your mitts. Eat it like that. We were talking about a steakhouse where you sit on whiskey barrels.
Something like that, yeah. It was just like a dark basement type steak house that we wanted to create, where you just go in and you just eat.
Oh, this
steak
is one
like
of our
a
$1 million
feral.
ideas.
Yeah, like,
I see.
You're like a feral animal.
Well, because we were talking last week about how Tito's ever-growing restaurant group, they got Geraci's Slice Shop in the back part of our building here, and they're going to take over that Parallax spot from Zach Brule there in Tremont and turn it into a steakhouse called, Mary? Steak. Now, whether or not I don't know what level of class they're trying to establish over there. I don't know if you'd be looked down upon if you sat there and ate your steak with your hands. I don't know. You're paying for it. What do they care?
Bro, my sister still eats with her hands when we go out. I had
But what is
to-
she eating?
Salad.
A sandwich? She doesn't eat salad with her hands.
I swear on my life.
Why
that
does
her
she
and
do
I
that?
Have had this conversation probably, I'd say over 10 times, where she's finally, when she goes out with me, she won't eat with her hands, but she will take a piece of lettuce and a cucumber, dip it into her dressing, and put it into her face with her fingers.
Well, okay. I thought you meant she was grabbing like a
steakhouse for her.
I thought you meant she was grabbing like a fistful of lettuce and
Just
putting it
shoving it in.
Yeah.
No,
I mean-
she'll like take it a piece of lettuce at a time or like roll it up into like little joints, little lettuce joints and like dip them and then eat it. But I'm like, dude, we're at a nice dinner. Can you please use your utensils?
Well,
please don't eat with your hands.
I mean, taking a slice of cucumber and dipping it. It's not, yeah, it's weird.
But she'll eat the whole salad that way.
Oh, she will?
Yes.
So she doesn't want to cover her salad in the dressing. She wants to
Eat it with her hands.
She wants to dip it.
Yeah.
You put your hand upon my hip. Okay, well, yeah, and she'll do the whole salad that
Yes.
way. She'll take the shredded carrot,
Mm-hmm.
dip it.
Or roll the carrot and the cucumber up in a little.
I got to tell you, I can't say
lettuce.
much because that sounds like something I would do.
It does, because you
I
don't
wouldn't.
think I can't eat a whole salad. That's too much.
Oh, no, I
that's
can.
too much fiber.
No. I go the opposite direction. I can't eat all the salad anybody gives me. I'll eat a mixing bowl full of salad, but I can only have, as you know, a quarter of a bagel at a time.
Yeah.
Because
Any more than that.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's a place that you can eat. If Tito Francona is going to have the steak joint with steak you can eat with your hands. Again, I don't think there's any rules anywhere that says you can't eat your food with your hands.
There's no rule,
Right.
but just like, I mean, and the
Common
truly,
courtesy
though,
might dictate that you don't do that,
Well,
but
because, yeah, if someone's across from you having a $500 dinner, they probably don't want to see you manhandling a T-bone. They're like, I would appreciate if this person wasn't being...
I guess. But people are animals.
Right.
That's the thing. You know? There's dudes at Morton's in Browns jerseys. So all bets are off.
There was a guy when Brian and I went to our anniversary dinner at Marble Room. There was a guy in athletic shorts.
Yes.
And I was like, what is happening?
We went to the first restaurant that we went to when we got to Vegas. Our flight had been delayed. I had made reservations for us in this restaurant in the hotel, this really swanky restaurant called The Library, and it was awesome. It's kind of like what Bartleby is trying to do in Ohio City, but it's this awesome place. So anyway, but they have a dress code, and my buddy told me, he goes, hey, X, Y, and Z. He goes, if you're going to go to these places, just FYI, they have a dress code, so you got to wear a thing, blah, blah, blah. And I go, cool. And we get in there, and we're dressed, man, and it's a nice place. But about 5 minutes in, Gwen and I are looking around, and I go, what is this dress code that is allegedly in place for this place? Because there was a dude next to us in sweatpants, and there was a lady walking around in like a tank top. I mean, we look great. It's always better to be overdressed. But I was like, there is no way they're turning people away from this restaurant if they're not in a suit or a dress.
Again,
So
though,
I don't know what they're talking about.
with Vegas, they let high rollers do whatever they want.
These people are
So-
not high rollers,
Well,
guaranteed.
You wouldn't know by looking at them, though, is the thing. Is that some of the people I watch on, like, my slot channels on YouTube, these people who spend, no exaggeration, $1 million a year at casinos, you wouldn't look twice at them. They'll be in, just a girl in, like, an athletic dress or a dude in shorts and a tank top just at Vegas.
I guess. I mean, my friend is one of those guys. So he told me. He's the one who told me. He goes, hey, because he asked where we were. Some nights we had dinner with them. Some nights it was just Gwen and I, and he asked where we were going. And I told him, he goes, okay, the first, 1 in 3 dress codes, middle one, don't sweat it.
I guess.
Maybe you're right. The woman next to me barely knew which fork to use. So if she's a high roller, I don't know. But I was like, what the hell's going on around
High
here?
roller just means they got a lot of money. Doesn't mean they're classy people.
Exactly. If I came into the high... Okay, let's play that scenario out. Mayor wins
Yes,
the Mega
let's.
Millions, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I take, say I win, whatever, $500 million. I'm taking at least 20 million of that and going to Vegas. So I will become a high roller, and I will be showing up in my leggings that have holes and a T-shirt, my T-shirt that I have on right now with the wet bandits on it, and dirty hair. I mean, it's not going to change me.
I call bull shrimp. If you hit, you would dress the part.
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
think you're
I
paying
think-
attention to Mary. She would sometimes.
I think
Yeah,
I
I would dress up every now and then, but if I'm going to gamble for 8 hours,
Yeah.
I'm going to be comfortable.
No, I'm talking about we weren't in the casino. We were in a really nice restaurant.
But that's what I'm saying is that these people probably were gambling all day and then just needed to go get food. So they get like points there or
see.
a discount or something like that.
I think you might be right.
I look like
I
a
hadn't thought about
train
it.
wreck when I'm at the casino. I'm in sweatpants. My hair's on top of my head because it's like,
But
listen.
only when she's at the casino.
Because you're working. You're settling in to do
Yes.
work. I
I'm
got it. You're
here.
like, I'm at work.
Leave me be. This is important business.
Oh, boy.
So
I'm at the only job where you lose money.
Yes.
Right.
Well, not the only job.
Yeah. I'm also a comedian, so I
Yeah,
have 2
exactly.
jobs. I've got to take a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com to watch live. I will have those Buzzard Fest tickets